And 3, 2, 1, whatever, let's go. So just want to take a little bit of time here and talk some about the Chevelle project. It did end up needing more than a tune. A couple little things. One of the biggest standouts was whoever built the car initially didn't have what I consider to be a proper cooling system for a water-cooled turbo on the street. It was missing a heat exchanger. That's pretty important. Really the main goal there is you're grabbing that heat after the turbocharger before it gets down the intake runners. You're grabbing that heat. You need that heat to get removed somewhere. Thermodynamics, how this kicks into play is there's no such thing as cooling, there's only absence of heat. What that really equates to is you capture that heat, you need to get rid of it somewhere. You have to reject it somewhere. That's cooling. That's how that works. The setup on the car had a water tank in the trunk, which if you're just building a drag car, that works out fine. Just throw ice and water in that thing, you make one pass, you're good to go. Come back, fill it up with ice again, go again. That is something that's normal in the racing world, but for a street car, you need a heat exchanger. It's just got to have one. So we added a heat exchanger for them, got that in there, so it makes it more streetable combo. As far as the turbo side of things, tuning, turbos are not ideal in every application. Sizing matters. The exhaust itself after the turbo, not really a huge issue on this one. It's got a pretty big downpipe, real free-flowing exhaust. The hot side, or the charge side that runs the turbine, that actually forces the air to the turbocharger to spin it, pretty poor execution, not gonna lie. Poor execution on that, improper turbo sizing. It happens a lot. There's a lot of people online with a lot of ideas on how things should happen. It takes science and math and knowledge and experience to do that stuff. You don't just go grab the first $700 or $800 turbocharger and slam it on an LS motor and call it a day. It just doesn't work that way. So putting that into account, you've got a couple of things in that system that really needed attention, needed some love. Gave them the best we could, explained to the client why it does what it does and why it doesn't do what he was hoping it was going to do. But hopefully it helps him to make some better decisions down the road as far as what he's going to do with the car long term and where his end goals are going to be. That's something that you really need to think of when you're building a car, building an engine combo, doing anything like that. You can't just go and start grabbing parts because they look like they're a deal or they look like they're cheap, especially when you're buying stuff secondhand. It's a broader spectrum, which is why not everything just needs a tune. You can't just do a tune and it's going to fix itself. Do try to perform miracles daily. We do what we can. But that's just where we're at with stuff like that. But end all be all, he left in a much better place. I did explain to him and show him how the wastegate works. And basically, if you're in a drag car situation, you can force dome pressure to it, which will slam that gate shut and force it closed. But what happens in a situation like this, and I'll try to get this dyno graph up in there so that you can see it, get a little better explainer of how this works. As the dome pressure gets up there, slams it shut, we make all the torque as fast as we can, and then that torque immediately falls off, which shows the turbo sizing isn't quite right. It's not optimum for that setup. We're at our sweet spot is a little lower boost because that's when the turbo actually performs more efficiently. Boost is actually a measure of restriction. I won't go into that too deep right now, but if that's something that people want more information on, throw a comment down there. Let me know. I will try and do my best to explain that stuff to you. Boost is a measure of restriction in the intake tract. So knowing that and understanding that just higher boost pressure driving that up doesn't necessarily always mean you're going to make more power. The car did do well for what it does here on 91. I think our end result is really good. He's got a much more drivable car when it's leaving, and I think that was really the goal here. And I think we nailed that one for him. Hopefully there's more to come with that client down the road. We'll see. I know he talked about potentially doing a bigger build, maybe different powertrain choice down the line. That would be super cool. I really like, for people that want big power, positive displacement blowers or even ProCharger, which is a centrifugal. Love them. Dependable, reliable numbers, repeatable over and over and over again. The way you win races, the way that you go fast, is being consistent, and you can do that with a turbocharger, but it takes a lot more work. Superchargers, really super easy. That pulley that's on there is really what gets you your dedicated number time and time and time again. With a turbo, you've got many variables in there that can change. That's why it's important to make sure that your combo is sized properly. But catching up on this Chevelle, I think the customer's happy. We'll see if we can get a little bit of footage in there, the final pulls with some bigger power at the end. That's it from Revolution, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Hey, Jimmy, you can't use your dipstick, Jimmy.